Welcome to episode 161 of the Still Drippin' Happy Hour. I'm your host. This is Mason. On the move tonight, we got Hayes Holla.
You know what it is.
And we got Dr. Dubya at www. We'll post that.
Yeah, we'll get posted.
He goes by many names for
Yeah.
many different people.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. We were talking pre-show just briefly before, and for all of our listeners, our special guest is a new dad as of Friday. So he's a fresh dad.
Yeah.
And mistakenly, we invited him not knowing that. And so if he falls asleep, we're not going to fault him. I think he's more up than Hayes and I are. So that says more about him than us. So he's used to the grind. Go ahead.
And this is child number one for you, or you have more kids?
Yeah, first one.
Child number one.
Congratulations.
God bless you, buddy.
First one. First
All
grade on both sides. So
so she's gonna be spoiled for sure.
Yeah. He's already there, man. They like, you're gonna around her finger, and I'm like, it's already done.
Yep.
Is all your family in Chattanooga, or
so
nearby, or are they outside the area?
So they are kind of all spread out. My mom lives in Memphis. My dad lives in South Carolina, and her parents live outside of Memphis in Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. Jackson.
Yeah.
All right.
So
very cool. So where did you grow up, and tell us how you kind of got into sneakers and fashion, all that stuff.
Oh man, so I was born in Atlanta, and I kind of moved around for a minute. I moved to Jersey. I lived in Newark, New Jersey. And then in 2001, we moved to Memphis.
Okay.
So that's kind of, and then sprinkling through high school, I kind of went back and forth through, from Atlanta to Memphis and little things like that. But as far as sneakers go, man, my dad, I got to give him his props, man. I used to just sit in his closet when I was younger and just look at all his shoes. And he had like great stuff, man. Foam Posit Pros, black on black, Air Max that I can remember. That's actually my favorite Air Max 10 Plus, in their blue colorway. A lot of different stuff, man. Converse, New Balance, things like that. So that's kind of where sneakers started. Fashion. I've always loved fashion. I'm not gonna lie. My mom kind of got me into that. She used to do interior design when I was younger, and she just kept me fly. So growing up, I was just like, okay, this is what it is, And but now I've been loving fashion, man, since before it was cool to say I like fashion. So I actually went to a performing arts middle and high school. So I had been designing. I've been designing for a minute. Like, I think it's weird to say now, but like 15 years. It's been like 15, 16.
Dang.
I started designing.
Wow. That's awesome.
At 13. I remember one of my friends' dads owned a like printing shop, like a print shop where he made his own brand and did a couple things. But like at 13, man, I was like, I used to draw stuff down, like draw stuff and take it to him and be like, hey, could you sell this in your store? And whatever. So nah, man, it's something I've always loved. I just, and it's always something I wanted to do. I like my aspiration, my goal is to be a fashion designer. Like, no one tell me different, through college, through every aspect of life. That's what I've always wanted to do. And kind of going back to the art side of it. So when I was able to get sneakers, like middle school-ish years, so I started learning how to paint and like art. So I started restoring shoes. So I actually had a restoration business when I was 14. So I was like going to school, like restoring stuff, and then I'd use that money to go buy like beat pairs off of eBay, and I restore. And, I'd have a 1999 pair of metallic fives, or some Laney fives, or anything, man. 1999 Forest Green 14, stuff like that. Just stuff like that. So nah, man, I've been into it a while. I would say I've been collecting sneakers probably since 13.
Okay. Wow.
So 13 I started, man, and I just never looked back.
So is this your first full-time gig, or would you work full-time and then you do this on the side?
Well, now I work full time and I do this on the side, but honestly, man, I always put that first. Not in the sense of like, so you know how people say, "Oh, you do too much and you spread yourself thin." I don't believe in that. I kind of, man, when it comes to designing, that stuff is already done. Because like I said, I've been doing it for, you know,
It's what you love, right? It's not even
Right.
it's not even hard. It's not work.
yeah. So, but I'm always gonna get that done, and then you know, I'm reliable when it comes to my job. So it's, you know, everything's gonna get done. That's how, just like how you guys said, "Oh no, I'm sorry." Like, man, everything's gonna get done. It's gonna work itself out. I'm just a firm believer in getting it done, man. Like, I don't know. It's like going to college. I went to the University of Memphis, by the way.
Okay.
Shout out Tigers. We didn't get in the tournament this year, but yeah. But nah, man.
Dude, they choked this year. I think it was the Mikey Williams thing. Like, it had to be like overshadowing for. I
think
don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
And they did that. So that's really crazy to me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're gonna keep Penny because
they have to.
Oh no, they don't. I mean, they don't have to. The city's not gonna let them. They love.
They don't have a. They gotta love. Right. They can't get rid of Penny.
Man, you go to Memphis, acts like who's the GOAT. They'll tell you Penny with a straight face. Like, yeah. So it's hard. It's easy to let Josh Pastner go, but it's not. You know, it's a Penny. Nah. But so I went to the University of Memphis, and I always say, man, I went to college for my family. Like, my family is looking at it as a broad, like, generational thing. Like, it's essentially like, I've done what you wanted me to do. You know, I'm doing both. I've done what you want me to do. Now I'm gonna do what I, want to do. So out of college, I started a networking company called Pop-Up, which is like irony on the name because we used to do pop-ups, and the whole theme of it all was to, at the time, me and my godbrother were selling vintage. Shout out to Dom. We were selling vintage in Memphis, so every weekend we'd set up. But it was the grand scheme of things was to get people out there and help people network. You know, put these pieces together. So we did that every weekend, and of course, we made money because that you got to live. So, but that was the common theme. It was like, all right, how do we get people here? How do we get these people to show up? So we do themes and go out and thrift every day, and it was cool. So right out of college, I think literally the day after I graduated, I went and set up for the first time, and I had a table, a rack, and like a rack and a table and a chair, and man,
totally done that.
It took off. It took off, and man, it was great because the outcome started. Like, the first one was but it was just like I don't know, man. I'm a visionary, I would like to say. I just good things, good ideas don't expire. Good things don't go unnoticed, and I feel like, man, if you putting that effort out there, you really can't lose, in my opinion. Just like with design, this isn't the first brand I've started. It's 1,000 other brands, but some people remember. Like I said, people know me for a lot of things, a lot of different ways. The name of my restoration business was Clean Kicks. If you go around, some people be like, man, Clean Kicks. They say, yeah, man, I remember that, whatever. But nah, man, it's not the first brand, and most people won't remember or never knew. So, but I don't know, man. I got a feeling about this one. I got a feeling about W. I'm not gonna lie.
So did you ever have a vintage store there? Did you do the retail thing, or are you just doing pop-ups?
Nah, man, just doing pop-ups. I felt like retail is tricky in Memphis, right? Like, Memphis is a very word of mouth, like, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's a very
blue collar city.
Yeah, but it has like this. It's like I call it a 5 o'clock shadow. Like, it's kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but I've never, and even when I was doing sneakers, like, we used to do sneaker shows and whatever, what have you, and travel, and they'd be like, man, you need to open a store, and I'm like, why? When I could when I can make you come to any part of the city, or I can come to your neck of the woods and make it more accessible for you. So that's kind of, it's just convenience, man. I'm all about convenience. It's just like technology. That's the way I see. That's the way I see business. I want to make it as convenient for you as possible. So whether, you know, we need to build a website for people who can't come to the pop-ups, who work Saturday, fine. You need me to do one during the week, fine. You know, I'm gonna make it happen, and that's just my attitude towards really everything in life. Is just gotta make it happen. It's got to be done.
Well, how we even heard about you is through our buddy Brian.
Yeah, shout out Brian.
So how did y'all meet? Did y'all know? Have y'all known each other a long time?
Oh man, so he's gonna love that I told this story. Not really, but so I moved to Chat 2020. I moved to Cleveland in 2020 during the pandemic. And, you know, wasn't working. Just I was freelance graphic design, so I was just, you know, picking up stuff, doing a little brand strategy stuff. And man, I don't know if you all believe in like destiny, but in fate. But man, so one day I get on Instagram. Instagram is like messed up. But stop it and go back. So a year prior to that, I visited Chattanooga for Christmas. I just came, me and my she was my girlfriend at the time, but we came to Chattanooga just for Christmas to kick it, whatever. And I saw that, like, you know, I love sneakers, so I look up all the sneaker stores.
Okay.
So it was like a you know, coming soon type thing at the time. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't open or whatever. So fast forward, I get on Instagram one day. I'm like at home bored, whatever, done with work, probably playing 2K or something. And Instagram is broken. It's like not moving. Like I can't refresh anything. And the only thing that I could see was a now hiring flyer for free agency. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I've been in the house a year at this point, 2 years at this point. I'm like, man, this would be cool just to do. Like, you know, whatever. So I go in and man, Brian and his business partner is cool. Brian is grilling me. So like he's looking at my resume, he's like, you sell sneakers, you know, what's going on? Like, and I'm like, oh man, I don't sell sneakers, I just restored them. Like I don't do that anymore. I had to stop when I got to college because, you know, the workload just, you know.
Yeah.
So man, so you know, I get the job or whatever, and I start working there. And man, Brian is hilarious, man, because he was like, you know, coming in like, man, showing me how to do stuff, but he's kind of like not messing with me. So the way we started bonding was his ringtone goes off for his phone, and it's a Kanye song.
Oh, here we go.
Oh man, you like Kanye? He was like, yeah. That's how we started bonding.
Dude, I only know no, that's not true. It would be a tie between Landon and Brian for the biggest Kanye fan.
Really?
I know. I think they'd marry that guy if it, you know. I think both of those guys would say themselves, you know what? Sometimes I wish I was gay.
But that's how we joined up, man. And from that day, you know, it was just, and we just linked up, and we had a lot more in common than I think he thought. And I think that, you know, I would have ever thought. And man, that's my boy. That's my boy. Awesome. Especially moving to a new. I mean, I'm familiar with moving to new cities, but like, you know, you don't know anybody, you know. And it was kind of just like like I was just in the house. I was literally just in the house. So it was like, you know, to meet somebody, you know, there's, because when you think of work, you're like I'm just going to get paid, like whatever, you know. And like I just wanted to be around the product. I wanted to see what people were buying. It's, you know, it's all in investigative work for me, because I'm like, okay, what are people buying? What do these graphics look like? What shoes do they like? You know, so it just worked out, man. That was stuff I loved being around. And me and Brian just hit it off, man. And that's like my brother. That's my brother. It's not like my brother. That's my brother. So
I had a flashback this weekend. This is a little bit off topic. So my daughter was playing an AAU tournament, and it was at Stratford in East Nashville.
Okay.
And so went to Stratford. That was the first place I ever met Brian in person to get a pair of shoes. And it was Mason, I think it was the Metallic 5s. I can't remember what year that would have been.
2015, 15 maybe? 16, something like that.
It gotta be 16. That's my favorite.
Okay.
16. But it
your
was the
favorite of all time.
Nashville.
Wow.
It was the Nashville basketball pro-am. So like,
Mm.
Robert Covington was there and Dante Jones and all the big basketball players in Nashville.
Yeah.
But that's where I met him the first time in person. Picked up a pair of 5s.
Hey man, it's a good shoe, good time. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Good guy.
Just tell us about the W brand. It's obviously your most recent brand, the one that we know of mostly. So tell us about that, and then I'll have a few follow-up questions after that. But go ahead.
So, man, first and foremost, I appreciate you saying the name correctly. You would be surprised how many people can't say it or like what is. Yeah, it's crazy. W. First and foremost, the name comes from just living in the South, man. My grandma says W, so it's and
George W. Bush, man.
Yeah, George W. That's where it comes from. My last name is Whitehead. That starts with the W. And man, above all, I know it might sound cringy or whatever, but I believe I'm a winner. I'm the winner, and W's all wins, win column. Put it in the win column. So no matter what, man, I win. I feel like I always win, whether it looks like it or not. I feel like I win. So that's where that comes from. It's crazy because, like I said, I've started a lot of brands, and I was like, man, one day I was just like, man, I want to do something for me. When you work in when you do a lot of freelance or you work somewhere where it involves design or strategy, marketing, things like that, you're using all your ideas. Well, not using all your ideas, but you're working for someone else to make someone else's dream come true. And I was like, man, you have to take breaks. Like I've started a couple of brands, and I just needed a break from brands that I was doing and just time to refresh, reset. And man, I had a long list in my phone. And I had been making the list for like 5 months of just names, like what fits me, what feels right. And because the thing for me is I can make stuff cool. I can make cool stuff all day. I can make a cool name. I can make 1,000 because that's my life. Like that's who I've grown to be. Like working in marketing, working in strategy, working in design. I know what works and what doesn't. Like what makes sense. But I just wanted it to make sense for me and just make it all about me. So the slogan for it is "Made for Us." I tell people all the time, they're like, what does "made for us" mean? And it's just like, oh, it's not made for a specific person. It's made for us. And I mean that in a sense of it's made for me. Everything is to my specifications, to the fit, down to the stitch of how I like it. But hopefully we can share that enjoyment, that love, that passion for the item or for the piece. And that becomes us. Me plus you is us. So it's all about me though. And that's why you may have seen everything is based off of moments of my life or things that have happened or going, that I'm currently going through, and just putting it on things that I like, putting it on garments, putting it on the way that I like, that I will put it on. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you can only wear it the way I would wear it. I want you to enjoy it for yourself and make a story for it yourself. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it on the brand. It's like I said, every single thing is related to me or something that I've gone through or been through or doing currently. And I feel like, that brings a solid, loyal audience because I'm being vulnerable to say, hey, this is what's going on in my life, or this is what's happened to me.
No, yeah, I think that's awesome. One of the first things that I realized that was kind of like you telling stories behind the brand was the hat you have on, and then the hickory forest hat.
Yeah.
And I saw in one post that was like where you lived at some point, Hickory Forest.
Yeah. So when I first moved to Memphis in 2001, I lived in those apartments for 10 years. And man, it's somewhere. So moving from the north to the south is crazy. Like I moved to Memphis and I was like skateboarding and just like doing stuff completely opposite. So when I moved to Memphis, they were like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And man, that's where I found my love for basketball. I'm a huge basketball guy. So when I moved to Memphis, it was like growing up, it was like, oh, you shoot around, whatever, what have you. But Memphis, man, it
basketball's king.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
basketball.
sports and music
Yeah,
and fashion. Like that's a vibe there for sure.
it's man, but going there was, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of hard on you.
Memphis is
Oh,
tough, buddy. It's a different animal.
They'd be like, they were like, "What are you saying? What's going on?" Like, So it's a place I hold dear to my heart forever, man. But yeah, I lived in those apartments for like 10 years. And it was crazy, man. Like I could do 10 plus collections on just living there. It was crazy, man. Like it was cool. It was cool. Some people I still know to this day. And I'm just like, man, I've known you this long. I've known you. I'm 28 now. I'm like, man, I've known you 23 years, 20 plus years. That's crazy. But it shaped me in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
So nah, man,
Yeah,
I can never forget that place. And I just wanted it to be authentic. It was cool to see people, in the comments and just messaging me and be like, man, you lived in these apartments. I lived across the street, And I'm like, yo, that's crazy, and it's people that I just ended up meeting later in life, like for whatever reason. So it's super cool. And that's the thing I love the most about the brand, the connection. I want people to connect and have their own, like I said, moments, if you will, in the pieces, but I also want them to relate to them. So though it may be my experience, I really want people to be like, I can relate to that. Like I remember
that's awesome.
Here or there, so. And then
no, I think it's super dope because the two colorways that I'm showing, if you guys are on YouTube, you can see it's like a cream colored hat with a green bill, and then the one that Peyton has on now, the royal blue with the red brim, and they're both very iconic colorways. I don't know if iconic, but they're real hot colorways.
They're iconic now, man.
Right.
You've already said it. Can't take it
back. they're colorways that people would wear, and so, but it doesn't feel like you're just taking a hot colorway at the moment and just putting it out there for people to buy it right now. Like you have a reason why this is a place where I lived, where I grew up, and then I know the other one that you have on was an ode to Iverson, right?
Oh man,
don't you even speak by that.
Even get me started, man.
You're a graphic design guy? I mean, did you design this logo and like everything about it, I'm assuming?
Yeah, everything. So everything you see in general on Dubya is all me. I do the graphic design, I do the photography, I do the video edit. So everything you see, everything made from scratch, everything. So yeah. But it's just
text me.
It's I don't know, man. I like it because
the logo looks familiar. Like there is something about it that it has a familiar feel, and I can't quite place it. I mean, I like it. But it feels familiar.
I mean, I think that's a plus. I think you put that.
No, I don't. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it's the feel. You want it to feel real. Like I feel like touching on what I said earlier, like a lot of brands are like, and it's no knock, but let's like example wise, let's do Hellstar. What does that even mean? What does that mean to them? What is, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why like colorways, I try to pull colorways, they have to make sense. Like the Hickory Forest, like I said earlier, Fate. Just so happened they make a hat is made like that. Or, for me to even be able to put something on it. But the stemming, is stemming a word? Is that the word I'm trying to use? I guess the base of the hat, right? The basis of the hat is based off of my first year of college. So as you can see, it says Dubya Academy. So in college, so my first year, I was like, I'm a manly man and I can do whatever I want. I don't have to go to class and whatever will have you.
Yeah.
A lot of stupid stuff.
Of course, you're a kid.
So like, I think the only good grade I had my freshman year of college was basketball class, and I made an A+. Literally, I'm not joking.
That's a good one.
I'm amazed that I even did that because it was at 8 a.m. But all my other classes, I was just like, man, I'm gonna sit on the lawn and hang out with my friends, whatever, what have you. So ACAD was a class for my second year, my sophomore year, which was my freshman year again. They gave us a class that was like mandatory that you had to take for like flunking, and it was called ACAD. So that's where the academy comes in. So it's based off of that, like Dubya Academy. And like my first day of that class, she was like, "Welcome to the academy." And I was like, "Oh man, and man, it's a lot. It's a lot of backstory. Like my advisor had told me, like basically like give up. Like after failing my first year, I was just like, she was like, you probably won't make it. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
Well, that's real motivating. Appreciate it.
Seriously.
So the thing is, I wake up every day motivated. Like, like people be like, oh, you got to kickstart me. And like, every day I'm ready for whatever the world's going to give me or whatever it's going to, like I'm ready. So telling me that, like, I already got the fire burning. You just you putting gasoline on it. Like that's, so I, after that I said, okay. And,
so are you saying you're the, oh yeah, is that what you think I can do? Screw that. And you went and did it.
Oh no, I'm in my head out loud. I'm very, and if you ever talk to Brian about it, he'll tell you, he explained it best. I'm very like, I'm a silent killer, man. I'm like, oh, okay. In my head, I'm like, I'm the best. Like when I was telling Brian one day, we were like at the store at the time, and I was like, man, when I release stuff, I'm going for the kill. I want people to be like, I don't want to drop anything because this promotion is so good. I need to step it up. Like I am. When I do something, I be like, I'm him. That's how I feel. Like I'm him. So nah, when she said that, I already had this imagery in my head of who I was, and I was like, oh, you think I can't do this? This is easy. This is slight work. So after that, man, that sophomore year and the rest of my years, I was like top of my class. Like I went like 4.0, but like in my major classes, like I was the guy who they were like, hey, because I'm not afraid to not necessarily be controversial or confrontational or whatever, but like if something's wrong, I'm like, yeah, that's not right. No matter if it's 40 against me, if it's 1 against me, like I used to take on whole classrooms. They'd be like, ask a question, whatever, what have you. And they'd be like, what, like everybody just yeah, I just want to leave class, whatever, yeah. And the professors will be like, what do you think, Peyton? And I'm like, that's dumb. Like,
here, I got something for you. So, speaking of W, was 9/11 an inside job?
You want to know something crazy, man?
You don't have to answer that. I was just messing with you.
No, funny enough.
Oh, you're gonna answer it.
Nothing.
I'm a conspiracy
theorist.
But
it's crazy. I had just moved from New Jersey when that stuff happened. My dad actually worked in the city. Like he was still in New Jersey, and he was like, man, they shut down the trains and everything. So I vividly remember I had just moved from New Jersey to Memphis. Probably was like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Probably was like 2 weeks. Like I remember vividly, 9/11. Like it's crazy. Because my dad was like, man, they shut down everything. I remember calling them. Like they sent everybody home. It was crazy. But
I just couldn't resist. Well,
nah.
Okay, anyway. So
W.
One of the things, what a stretch. So Brian, when he also put us on, did you start with the socks? Like as time has gone on, it almost feels like if you're into sneakers, like the sock combination thing, and we talked a lot about this with him too.
Mhm.
Not even related to your brand. It was like, but then you came out as we were talking to him. So is that how it started? Was that, or you were already doing other stuff besides that?
So the socks, okay. So if we go back a little bit, starting W before I knew what it was, if that makes sense. You know how you kind of just do something and you're like, oh, okay. And you don't really think of it. So I was doing these 12 and a half by 12 and a half, like graphic pictures, I guess, like graphic art. But they were like murals in a sense. So it was like cutouts. It was all cutouts, and it'll be like a bunch of people from Memphis. I did one on Kobe. I did one on 2000s artists. And in the corner, I was putting a W.
That W. Or
no, not that.
Not even that W, just a W.
It was another W. And I released those 3 or 4 pictures or whatever. And I kind of just like laid it to bed. I was just like, oh, I just wanted to see. The whole thing behind that was I'm growing up. I'm an adult. What do adults need in this weird time of space? Because, you know, we don't have families yet. Some of us just graduated. You know, we're all getting new homes. We're moving out of the city. I think wall art was cool because it was like, this gives me a sense of, hey, I'm young, but I'm also an adult. And I felt like I'm always in the business of what do people need? Yeah. So I'm always in the business of like, what do people need? What is something that people aren't doing? What's not happening? And this was the ode to Memphis, you know, and just put a bunch of artists, things that are familiar in the city, people that, you know, that the city may know, but everybody may not know. So it started with that. So the socks came about. So growing up, like I said, I've always loved shoes, but everybody sold Jordan, Nike. I'm strictly Adidas, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm a guy of all brands. You know, like Asics are hot now, but like Asics back in high school, people be like, what is that? You know, New Balance, what is it? Like in elementary school, you know, white forces have always been the like thing, whatever, you know, going back to school. So, but I used to go back to school shopping so late that all the Air Force Ones would be sold out. So now we got to get a pair of S Carters. We got to get a pair of New Balance 574s, you know, things like that. And so growing up, that was just how I thought, like, oh man, I don't have to have just Jordans to be cool. One of my favorite shoes when I was younger, to this day, man, I say, well, to this day, it was a Reebok made for Steve Francis. It's called the Steve
Franchise.
Yeah, it was called the Franchise, and it was one of my favorite shoes. It looked like an Air Force One because, you know, at the time everybody was making that shoe that looked like an Air Force One, but it was like a mid top. It was all black and it had his logo on it, and that's what I wore. And I was never afraid to do that. So fast forwarding, I can't wear Nike socks with my Yeezys. I can't wear Nike socks.
Oh, you are a purist.
So, I mean, yeah,
I love it.
I'm gonna have it, but why not create something that you can wear with anything?
Mm-hmm.
You know, not white. And that's kind of my thought behind the socks. So I started with the socks just to see if the brand would stick. Okay. It felt good. It felt good to me. I was like, oh yeah, this is something like, huh? And it's crazy because this is the last name on that list that I was talking about. It was the last name I came up with, and I didn't write another or type another thing after that. Like I probably had like 200 names, and I was like, whatever, you know. And I type them and just close that, whatever. And I don't know, man. W just felt authentic, and that's kind of what but like that's what I'm about. I'm about being authentic. So the socks, I want that to be from then to now and forward. I want that to be like the signature, the staple. Okay. I'm gonna continue to release other things around it, but I want that to be something that's always available. You know, the signature. That's the signature.
Okay, that's like the bread and butter. That's your Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's what we do. I want it to be, you know, I just want it to be, I want that to be the household thing. Like if you never have anything else, you'll always be able to get socks. Whether you get put on today, next year, the year after that, like I want that to be something that everybody can bond on, because I'm not fond of everybody having everything. And that's kind of why like my quantities are low. Everything I drop, I think the most I've dropped is like 100 pieces. And everybody
so you don't print on demand, like you get it all printed somewhere else, and then
100% me. 100% me. And then because I like to know that I'm doing correct, like I'm doing this correctly. So like I want people to know that I'm paying attention. I'm always paying attention. So like I understand if, all right, 6 guys asked about the extra large after it was sold out on the last piece. I need to add that, keep that in mind. How do I average that out? Okay, instead of 15, I'm gonna get 21 this time. Like that is my thought process around it, and I'm really locked in. Locked in, and I'm keeping notes. And people wouldn't even know. People wouldn't even guess like the stuff that I'm keeping tabs on, and it's just that important to me. So and that's also
that's awesome.
That's also like my confidence level. Like I can get this gone. Like if I get 100, I can get this gone. Like
Mason, from that perspective, he reminds me so much of D Goods, like the Hustlers Don't Cry stuff. Like that's what he feels like with that.
So another piece that you haven't said yet, but of the storytelling that I just picked up on browsing your website is the pricing. And I'm assuming that's your birth year, 96?
1996 is the socks. Certain projects, I try to implement that. But 9 times out of 10, it's always a number. Numbers mean so much, man. You can always find a number in something. You can always.
Well, can you please tell us about this puffer jacket and how this came about? Show it. It's right behind you because I'm a North Carolina fan.
Yeah.
And so as a Carolina guy, I was like,
my dad is a huge North Carolina fan. That's funny.
Okay.
So the puffer jacket. So this is a sample. So if you could pull it up on the
It's on your website.
Well, this is a sample. This is just my
Okay.
So like you see, it's a dozen, well not a dozen, but it's 3 like orange jerseys. Those are just the trial runs of what I've gone through. But
we got to come back to that. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. But the jacket, man, the puffer jacket. So I was born in 96, but the 90s influenced my style a lot. So this took inspiration from the old starter jackets.
Of course. I knew it as soon as I saw it.
Yeah. So I was a Philly fan up until like last year. We had to do a whole different episode on why I'm not anymore. But I love the night, but I've never been like super team oriented. I've never been super team oriented, and I just feel like I don't see these a lot anymore, unless they're like vintage and like the Jayhawks or Tennessee, And I just wanted to make something that, like I said,
resonates. It was different, man. It's super different.
Yeah, and that's what I try to implement. Like, what isn't being made, but is good. Like, it's a lot of good archival things, or like I don't know. It just felt right. Like I never have a winter jacket ever. Never. I probably never bought a puffer jacket in my life. And you sit down and you think sometimes like, what would this look like if I was to make one for me? And that's kind of how I get into a lot of design. I'm like, this shirt doesn't fit particularly well. What would I wear? And then I just sit down, man, and for weeks, and it's a lot of stuff that gets scrapped. Brian will be one to tell you, like, I used to be in the store and I'm designing like in the midst of work, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna go ahead and push this through, get it in production, whatever. And like the next day I'd be like, I scrapped that. It wasn't what I thought. Like, he's like, man, just put it on the back burner. And I'm like, nah. Like I'm quick to be like, no. So I'm quick to just scrap things and be like, whatever.
What's the worst idea you've ever had?
The worst idea I've ever had. I remember this one specifically because going back to my friend's dad that owned the shop. I was 13. So I made a shirt. So graphic tees were like, you could go to JCPenney and get like graphic tees, and they said like phrases or what have you. And I took him this one design, and it was like let's go. You know, somebody be like, let's go. Like if you hooping or whatever, like get an and one, like let's go. But it said Lego, Leggo, and it was made out of like blocks.
Like Lego blocks.
Yeah, like
that makes total sense for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, and he was like, in so many words, he's a kind guy. Because in so many words, he was like, this is trash.
Try not to kill your confidence, but at the same time, like, this is really honest.
But man, I've been the same guy. So it was just like, man, I've had people literally tell me to my face. When I got out of college, you know, everybody says, go to college, get a job, you know. So like I went to this marketing agency, ad agency, and he was like, you know, let me see your portfolio, whatever, what have you. And I pulled a portfolio out, I showed it to him. He was like, this is garbage. I wouldn't hire you a day ever. I'm 18. I was out of school like a day. I had been out of school like 2 days max. And I laughed. Because everything that was in their portfolio meant nothing to me. It was stuff that they told me to do in class.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't care about this. I made an A. Like I passed with this, but I didn't think it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was good at all. And but that like stuff like that doesn't bother me. I appreciate the honesty. Like if it's not good, let me know. Like, you know, if this doesn't make sense, let me know.
Yeah.
So well, I'm not everybody says like, oh, artists are so sensitive about their work. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I believe in innovation. So, you know, if you looked at that puffer jacket and was like, man, it needs a zipper or whatever. And I take that into consideration. Like I said, I'm always making mental notes. So it's just, I don't know, man. I think some people are negative and will tell you your stuff is crap because they're just haters or whatever. But it's always some truth in there. And it's your job to filter that, you know, like, so I just take it with a grain of salt. Like,
yeah,
you know.
Well, I think what you're saying.
Oh, go ahead. Does it come into consideration that I would assume that if we tallied up anybody who, let's take Dubya, for example, that says Dubya is trash or whatever, it's probably safe to assume that they've never had a brand themselves, right?
Oh,
I would think
100%.
It's the man in the arena stuff of the person who is not.
It's the finger warriors, right?
Yeah. Most times, man, it's people who have never even done not even created a brand, but these are people that can't take simple pictures. You know, like if somebody was like, hey man, take this picture. Like these are people that can't, you know, and like that's cool. That's fine. I appreciate you. You have your opinion. You can voice your opinion. You can say whatever you like. But for somebody like me, I feel like at a point it's kind of undeniable because it's not like I've been doing this and I've sucked at it for a very long time. It's like, hey, I've been doing this and I've been taking notes, evolving with time, crafting these things, and I care. And you know, like with every product, I give something like a bonus, whatever. So like for this hat, it's the pen. You know, like I try to give as much as I can, man. As much as I can to where it makes sense. Everything, like I tell people all the time, oh, designing is easy, man. You want to know the hardest thing about this? Packaging. Like I tell people, I obsess over packaging. Like, how do I make this look cool? I don't want you to just think the product is cool. I want you to get into the product, opening this bag, this whatever. I want you to be like, this is crazy. Yeah. Like, you know,
like when you get an iPhone and you have to slowly wait for it.
I was just about to say that. I listened to a podcast about the packaging on the iPhone, and there's a building that, I mean, it's probably not a whole building, but there's a specific area in Apple that's all they do is test packaging. It's I think the way they frame it is if it's too hard to open or if it's too easy to open, it's cheap products. And so that's why you can't open it fast, but it's not hard to open it, and it's real slow. Packaging is huge. And that's really cool.
So that's what I obsess over. Like I can make, and that's why like I don't make collections. I don't know if you noticed that. So I release everything one by one because I want it to be focused. I want it to be. I just want people to really understand from all aspects how, in my opinion, good this is. Like how good this thing is. Like I over prepare. Like if I do 3 days of like promotional stuff, like I make 10 days and just like, because you never know. Like my thing is, it's so much media. Like you consume so much media, and you know, I can't at this point compete with Como de Garçon. You know, things like I'm not even trying to compete. I'm just trying to make it to that level. But you know, I'm always competing as much. But when you're Eric Snow, you know, I feel like I'm Eric Snow right now. So like calling out Iverson is kind of crazy. You know, like at this point, like I need a couple seasons. But I release one by one, man, and it's, and like I said, I think this will really help you understand like how focused I am on consumers, because I don't want you to have to choose. I feel like a lot of times people release 12-piece collections and like, oh, okay.
You got only a certain amount of income, right? It's just math equation. You can't get everything.
Yeah. So like, but most times that'll just turn people off and they won't buy anything, or they'll say, I'll buy this later. And it's like, when you come to my website and something is released, either you like it or you don't. I don't need you to ponder and I'm gonna get it tomorrow. I'm gonna do this. I don't need you to push it off. So if you want it, get it now. If you don't, that's cool.
Yeah. But
you know, people in decisions. When I ran Clean Kicks, we had like shirts. It just had the logo on it, whatever. It was a foot that said Clean Kicks in it, whatever. But we used to tell, man, people like, man, I love your shirt. You know, can I order one? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm doing orders. And they're like, what colors do they come in? And I'm like, any color you want. And making people make a decision is the craziest thing you could ever do, because people will see me 30 times and be like, man, I really want a shirt. And I'm like, what colors? I don't know yet. And this will go on for months. Mm-hmm. So with this stuff, it's like this is the only color.
Make them have to make a decision.
Right. So it's yes or
decide.
It's yes or no.
Great advice.
Yeah. So that's, and like I said, man, I've been studying it. Like you know, I've been studying it. I've been studying consumer behavior just years. You know, people be like, man, at 16, people were like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What's the turnaround time? Like, that don't matter. Like, I had a partner, he'd be like, man, they'll get it back when they get it. And I'm like, no, if we have the faster turnaround time, then we can do this and it. Like, that was me at 16. So like now, that's another reason I buy everything, because if it's on hand, it's getting out the next day. Mm-hmm. The worst thing you could do as an independent, smaller brand is not satisfy your customers, because they don't have a reason to buy from you. You're not even cool. Like, you know, you're not in Macy's, you're not in a resale store or anything like that. So they have no reason to buy from you. So if they buy from you, that's a very big decision. And that's a very crucial thing you need to pay attention to. Because they made the choice to buy from you. So I want them to have experience ever.
Before we get off here with him, can we pull up our website? And what he has said so much that's even related to our merch, and we don't have to do that right now. But I mean, like, I wanted his opinion, and then also he's saying a lot that's relevant to what we do.
We need to take some items down. It sounds like.
Well, yeah, refresh the screen, because I did while he was talking. He
okay.
Hey, so related to Mason, you have a question? I just lost my train of thought. Man, you were
I do. This is a personal question from me. Do you have a lot of stock in the gravel crew sock? Long story short, our credit card got stolen, so I don't have funds to. All my cards are frozen right now. So if you give me 4 days, I really want one of these crew socks, the gravel colorway. Will I have time? All right. Hold on. I'll put an order in for sure.
That's the only thing I can guarantee you is always going to be available. So I got you.
Okay. Oh, the gravel socks are always.
Dude, it's his Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah, it's always going to be available. Now, everything else I can't. You know, y'all might be on the friends and family list from now on. But
Hey,
everything else, you know, nah, everything
Right.
like I have friends that people I've known like years and love the brand. But the thing for me is it's cool to hear people complain. I love complaints because that means if nobody's complaining, you're not doing anything. You're not doing
They don't care, right?
So people like, man, I couldn't get everything. And I think that's cool because if you go out in this hat and see somebody else in a jersey, it's like, hold on, we both know, like, it's kind of if you know thing. So I like that. I don't want everybody to have everything. I think it's no individuality in it. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
How quick did the pink socks sell out?
Less than 24 hours.
You're kidding.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Everything, and I don't want to jinx myself, but everything I've released thus far. So last year I released 6 projects, which was a lot for an independent brand. I wanted to do it correctly. Everything I wanted to do was I wanted to be high quality, and I wanted to be, received well, promotion wise, whatever. And everything sold out. Everything. So when people come like a week later or they just find out about it and they're like, and I'm like, if you don't get it, I release everything normally on Fridays. If you don't get it on Friday, it's a very slim chance Saturday anything will be there.
Wow.
And that's just being real. Like I'm not, like a lot of times people are weird about stuff like that. And so I really don't say it too much. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, he's trying to brag. And it's like, nah, that's like really what's going on. Like, a lot of stuff.
Would you ever consider doing pre-orders, or is that you kind of want it limited?
I've done pre-orders once, and it was on the Kid W shirt. And it's just because demand was so high, and I was taking not a break. I had some other stuff. Whatever I did next was in the works, so I had time. So I was like, okay, man, we can do this. So I did pre-orders, but I'm not a big fan of pre-orders just because so many variables. I don't like adding a lot of variables because that's where the disappointment comes. Like, So right now it's just like I said, it's just me. And I understand you need a team. And at some point, I'll have a team. But I run a lot, like I said, I run a lot of brands and, teams. I need to establish what I want, the values of the brand and everything like that before I bring other people in. I need to get it to a certain place because like I said, those variables, man, they take you out the game sometimes. And when you have momentum, just like in sports, when you have momentum, when you break that momentum, it's hard to get it back. So I'd rather just do what I'm doing at a high level and keep doing it at a high level until I need help, until the demand becomes, oh, you have to buy 5, but I've run enough brands and dealt with enough business by now to understand what I need to do at this level. And it's all learning, man. I learn every day. I love learning. I love learning. And if you ask anybody, I'm so curious to be like, yo, what is this? What is, so I'm just trying to make it to the next level. I always push to the next level. Like I call Brian often. That's the person I call most often.
He's just blown up our Instagram, by the way, since we've been sitting here.
That's the person I call most times and be like, I don't think this promo was it. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm just like, it wasn't what I wanted. He's like, it was a good turn. I'm just like, because what people see, like people, if you've never designed, if design has never been your thing, of course they're gonna be like, oh, that's good because they can't do it. But is it really good? And I know from designing for almost 20 years, like what's good, and I know what can be better, and that's just what I focus on, man. So like, by the time the public sees any product that I do, any promotion, I'm sick of it. I can't even stand to look at it. You got to realize, like the hockey jersey took I think the hockey jersey took like 4 or 5 months.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so talk about the Kai Cenat. Talk about all that too, because that's and did you see a bump from that? Like, tell us that story.
So it's weird, man, because you you know, a lot of things people say, you know, plant seeds, and you know, they'll eventually grow, whatever. And I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I saw he did unboxings. So like in November when I had Jersey, it was like late November. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna send a jersey. You know. Not thinking, I was like, man, he may open it, he may not, whatever, you know. We'll see. So like I see somebody post the unboxing, not mine, just like I think I saw like a thumbnail like, oh, LaMelo Ball sent him 200 pairs of LaMelos or something. And I go like to YouTube and I'm scrolling through the video, like he's doing the unboxing. And I'm just like, oh, he opened it. That's crazy, you know. So he opened it, whatever. You know, I'm just like, that's cool. You know, I'm gonna clip it for me. I'm gonna, you know, mock it up, put it on the page, whatever. And so I'm working on Paige's room. Like I come home from work on a Friday and I'm like working on her room, like building stuff. So like I'm not by my phone. And I get to my phone, I got like crazy missed calls. And I'm just like, what's going on? So like I called my boy back. He was like, man, I'm proud of you and this and that. And I'm just like, you going through a midlife crisis? Like, you too early. You too young for this. What's going on? He was like, you don't know? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Kai has your stuff on stream. And I was like, really? So I go and I'm looking and all I can see is like 80,000 people in the chat. And I'm like, this is crazy. And he wore it for 13 hours. And it's crazy because like literally the week after that, he signed with Nike. So I don't know if that moment happens. If you know, if that moment happens. So but nah, like I think
that's cool.
And you know, I had to go be I had to get on that keyboard, man, because people think, you know, oh, he wore your stuff. But it's like he wore it, but like, did he tag it? Is it in the caption? So you know, I'm in the comments like, yo, this is W. You know, I'm on Twitter. Like I think he had a viral moment that night talking about like 21 Savage. So like I'm in everything on Twitter. Like this jersey is, you know, and I think prior to that I had like 100. I was barely leaning on 100 followers. I got 400 followers like within the next 7 days. So I was just, this is crazy. So like I promoted it on Instagram and it's going, but like it was a lot of follows, but I got more DM requests about, hey man, how do I send my stuff to Kai? And I'm just like,
that's fair.
I had to do the work. Yeah. And not to say like I'm not gatekeeping by any means. Like I'll help anybody, but I went and looked.
Right.
And why do you want the same YouTube? I don't know, man. That's just my thought. Like,
well, to be honest, and Mason might be on the same page. I don't even know what Kai Cenat does. I don't know anything about him. I'm not a streamer. I don't even know what that really means. I'm an old head.
But the thing is,
couldn't tell you what he does.
I don't watch him either.
Yeah.
But I understand opportunity. You know?
Yeah. That's what I understand. I'm like,
yeah.
It's just a math problem.
Yeah, I don't.
What I really like about you, Dr. Dub, is that in the world that we're in right now, that is so concerned about hurting people's feelings, is like you seem to be very in touch with it's not personal and very connected with I would say just yourself and your preferences of this is what I like, and that's cool if somebody else shares that same opinion. But if you don't, like, it's not personal. Yep. And that's hard to find right now in the world, is that everything is personal. Everything is yada, yada, yada. And like, I even, I wouldn't say I struggle with that in my job, but in my government job, like I get told no all the time. And I tell these people, hey, buddy, you might want to do this. And I'm not going to miss a wink of sleep if you don't do this. It ain't going to hurt my feelings. If we connect and I feel like this could be a good marriage, great. And if not, bro, go find somebody else you can get married to. Right. Yeah. And that's how it feels like you think, and like, man, props to you. Yeah. I'll just say it like that.
Because it's
go ahead.
Everybody wants to be cool and everybody wants everybody to like them. And the reality of life is most times, most people won't like you. And that's cool. Like everybody doesn't have to be friends. Like, that's cool. Like I'm open to be, I love it. I'm open to be, meet people, understand whatever. But like, well, we don't have to kick it. Like, you don't have to ever like anything. You don't have to ever share my stuff. Like, that's fine. Like, okay, but it's no
it's not personal, right?
Yeah, no.
Everything is so personal.
Yeah.
We have Hayes and I, and you might be the same way that we are. We have incredibly small circles. Now we know a lot of people, and we're friendly, but the circle's just small. I mean, it's fine. I'm not upset.
It's cool, but like it's crazy because a lot of people, and this is gonna sound weird, so I'm gonna explain it. A lot of people know me.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot of people. Like I don't know you're like, yeah.
And if you're like me, like I don't even want to know a lot of people.
Yeah, like I'm terrible. I am terrible with names. So I definitely don't I don't want to know a lot of people because I'm not even going. And it goes back to what you were saying about your government job. Like I am, and now people are gonna be in the comments like you're lying, but I'm not very talkative. Like I'm just not. Like
it's not how God made you.
So
I know what you mean.
So if I say something, like even at work, like if I say something, I wholeheartedly believe it. I've tested it. It's what needs to happen. It's not a suggestion. I'm not suggesting. I've thought about it. That's my attitude. Like if I say, hey, this needs to be this way, I'm not saying it just to say it. I don't talk just to talk. That's not my MO. Like some people just want to hear themselves talking, have this power or make suggestions. Listen, I'm a solutions guy. Anything I say, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to make it better. I'm trying to, take it to the next level. And people don't get there because everybody doesn't have that mindset. Some people just okay with being flying under the radar or flying that straight line. And that's fine. But those aren't my aspirations. So don't
hold me to your aspirations.
This sounds so much of crazy. Like, and I know it's a lot bigger than what I'm about to say, but all of this is like the Kanye influence on my life too. It's like, here's who I am. It is what it is. It's not personal. I'm going to piss off some people and great. If you don't like me, fantastic. But like, I have that in my DNA too. And that's so it seems like what you have too, which I love. Like that's a very endearing thing.
I'm big on that attitude and mindset. And like, if I say I'm going to do something,
it's getting done.
You can bet, take it to Vegas.
Yeah.
Put it on a ticket because it's going to happen, so people take it, like, and this is crazy because my mom instilled this mindset into me. And it's crazy because like my last year in college, we were sitting in like a class or whatever. And, classes get smaller when you get, towards graduation or whatever. So there's like 10 people in the class. And I forgot the conversation exactly, but my professor was like, you can't do that. And I literally verbatim in front of 9 other adults, 22, 23 plus year olds. I said, my mother said I can do whatever I put my mind to. And she said, you couldn't perform open heart surgery. And I said, with the proper preparation and teaching, I could. Anything is possible. Like, you can never count me out. I don't care what you think, what I can do it. I am. And you can't tell me anything. What Kanye say? You can't tell me nothing. That's you can't. I'm not. You got to show me. Because when do you really lose? People are so stuck on like failure and quitting, but like, when is that book written? You know what I mean? Like, you have to die for that to be like, oh, he failed. And by then, who cares?
Who freaking cares? I'm gonna be dead.
Like I'm dead.
I'm gonna be dead. I don't care.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
So if I sit here and say, man, I want to be a fashion designer, till the day I die, I am going to be, and I'm a fashion designer now, but to the scale in which I want to be. Till the day I die, it's up. Like, I'm trying. It's effort, man. Effort is relationship, man. My relationship with God is the understanding to any relationship is 50% effort. They got to meet you. So I got to do my part. I have to do my part. I can't be sitting like, man, I want to be a designer and I didn't start a brand, or I'm not releasing anything, or I'm not doing good promotion, or I'm not having good customer service skills. Like that doesn't fly. That's not 50%. You know, that's not a relationship. You want somebody to do something for you.
And you're preaching now.
Yeah, you want somebody to do something for you, and I'm not. If anything, man, I'm gonna be 80% in your face, like, yo, and you be like, hold on, you can step back a little bit, and I'm like, I have to show you that this is what I want. Like, I want this. So that's my attitude. That's how I approach everything. It's like, you know,
Yeah, I've got a Mason. Let me make one statement related to that, and we can go to rapid fire. Okay, so man, you got to go to bed, Dr. Dub. Like, come on, you got a baby. So what you're saying, this is funny. I had where I work is a heavy Christian place, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I love it. It's a breath of fresh air. But one of the things that we talk about sometimes is that I pray like it. I work like it all depends on me, and then I pray like it all depends on God. And I think we're probably on the same page where I don't think that's good theology.
Yeah.
I think it is. I work. It all depends on God, and then I work hard because I'm grateful for what He has done for me.
Yeah.
And that overflows to everything else. Is that I can't do any of this without God, and to show my gratitude, I'm going to pour it all out. Right.
So, and not to cut you off, but
you're good.
I was saying this phrase, man, in the pandemic. I was telling my, she was my fiance at the time. So I was telling her, like, I'd say it may not always be this. And in a very negative, like, you know, we were working from home, and my whole thing was like, oh, you know, let's spend time together, because it may not always be this way.
Oh man.
At this time. And man, as I said that, God turned it, flipped it, and was like, it may not always be this way, because it got better. I was thinking like, it worse. Like, you know, we may not have this time, and it got better. And I'm just like, oh, that's crazy. Like, so that's something. So now I say it to myself internally all the time, and I'm just like,
so when you said all the stuff about fate and destiny, it's we are God guys. Like,
yeah.
We're on the same page.
Okay.
Like,
yeah. Well,
ain't none of that. Fate and destiny is the Lord's providence.
Yeah. Blessings, man. The blessings, they overflow, man. When you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Like stuff. You know, it's been times, man, where I'm like, it's no way I was supposed to make it here and do this, and you know, and man, I'm just surprised. But just keeping your head down, man. Just keep your head down and just keep going, and you'll always make it to the other side.
That's great advice.
Yeah, you always make it to the other side, as long as, man, your faith. Listen, whole different ball.
See, people think this
another
is a sneaker
podcast,
podcast, and it's not about
it's not
that.
about
it
sneakers.
Turns out,
Yeah,
it's a lot more than that.
And it's
All right, let's rapid fire you so we can get you out of here. You're late.
Let's do a little fill in the blank here real quick, and we got some other rapid fire. But all right, first, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander reported today that he'll be a sneaker free agent, I think, come September. Who should he sign with?
Sign back with Converse.
Okay.
Sign back with Converse. It makes the most sense.
Yeah, give him a signature shoe. I'm sure he will. All right, what do you think of these Adidas box shoes? So
earlier I said the Air Jordan 5 metallic, black metallic, is my favorite shoe all time. But my love started with Adidas shell toes. Those are my favorite shoes. Like,
wow,
all time. Before I ever had Jordans or anything else, I collected shell toes, and I had.
You might have been the first person that's ever said that on this podcast.
I had 26 pairs of shell special editions. That was my first ever sneaker collection.
Did you just get the Ninja Turtle ones that came out?
I've been trying. Trying every day. I thought nobody was gonna buy them, and I was snagging. whenever, and I can't catch them. I tried to buy them off today, and I took an L. So I got to get 2 of them because I got to display one and then I got to wear them.
There you go.
So we up or down on the
100% down. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's man, I can't. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Okay, good.
This is something I think Mischief would make. Like that
is a great point.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mischief, when I first saw these shoes, I thought it was Mischief. But the question is, which one of these are you going after? The Bear Claw, Polar Bear feet, or the Yeezy sock shoes?
Bear Claw. I hate sock shoes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. You already know this. I have a pair of the sock shoes on the way.
Can't do it. I'm not.
Yeah, I think
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going with the Bear Claw. Fur on a sneaker, I'm very anti.
These are like house shoes, though. This is like
it doesn't matter.
Level.
They suck. This is terrible.
I don't know. I think
you would kill it.
Nice.
Dr. Dub's got a little baby. He's going to stab his baby in the throat.
Oh my gosh, that was
You could stab him. Her
around the house in them. I'm telling you, man. You can get on Instagram. There's gonna be some fit pics in these.
Oh my Lord, have mercy.
Not from me. Right. You know, some kids.
Let's keep going. Let's see. We updated this. Do you own any of these brands down here?
Nah, man.
He laughed.
Nah, man. I'm a real sneaker guy, man. I'm good.
That's good.
I have too many. The thing is, I feel like these are like everyday shoes, and I don't have an everyday shoe because I have a lot of sneakers, so I don't. These are like, if I was a everyday, like these are.
Is this some UNC something poking out here? Yeah, I also see some 12s, some like olive 12s or 13s. Okay.
Olive 9, 2012.
Oh, that's what that is. It looks like the back of a 13.
So they're coming out this year.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh man,
those are clean.
Yeah.
15, all right. Well,
there's a lot of stuff, man.
None of those. That's a positive in our book. What
do
you think about Solomon's?
I'm a Solomon's fan. Could I buy them? No. Oh, unless it's the margin.
Okay. Was that the red ones?
Is this? Yeah. I mean, they're cool. I like them for what they are. Give me a second. I'm to cut off. Give me 1 second. Oh. All right, so we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Oh, just gotta move. All right. Give me one. All right.
So you're not
our last rapid fire here.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me scroll down. Give us your thoughts on fake sneakers.
Nothing about me is fake, man. So I couldn't do it. It's not. It's not. I'm too authentic to have anything fake. I mean, I don't even think I've ever been scammed with a fake. I've done a lot of sneaker trading and a lot of selling, and a lot of buying, and I don't think I've ever. Because I'm a study. Spending my life. I really, people who get scammed by fakes, I really don't understand how. I'm working hard for my money. I'm checking, I'm looking at comparison videos. I have to. Like, it's not.
What about intentionally purchasing a pair of fakes?
Hey man, whatever people do with their money, like I'm probably buy my daughter like Travis like reps.
Okay.
Because she's a baby. Like,
no sense in paying $300 for.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna pay, but like it's cool for her to have like a Phantom Black. Like she can't even walk. Like, nobody's gonna be like, that kid has no face.
Would you buy a fake pair of Yeezy 750s just to screw Adidas?
No, I have real 750s. I don't.
Okay.
Well,
in theory, would you ever? Who was it that was on that was talking to us about
that?
Fakes?
Was shoe culture, Jake.
Yeah, Jake. So this guy named Jake was on here, and I'd never thought about like this, but I think it's pretty fair to say I'm pretty anti-establishment. I'm probably not an anarchist because that means there's no rules, but I'm definitely
You don't like people telling you what to do.
I will not deal with people telling me what to do.
And
so I will do the exact opposite of what people. That's why I love Kanye. I mean, I don't agree with everything he does, but I love the people that swim against the culture.
Yeah.
So, but he made a good point that at least I thought it was a good point is that he would buy reps just in order to not give Nike any of his money. And I never thought about it like that. It's like intentionally screwing the big guy.
Well, I come from an era where, so you know how you ever been to like McDonald's and got a really bad thing and you're like, I'm not going back to McDonald's anymore. So back when I first got into sneakers and reps, and so reps used to be, so like all reps are just good now, to my understanding.
Yeah. No.
But it used to be double A, triple A, single A. And it used to be tiers. So when I used to see fakes, I'd be like, this is trash because everybody will buy the cheapest one, you know. So that's why it's a negative connotation on reps in my mind because they're not comfortable. They're made with poor materials. I'm a quality guy, so it makes sense. Now, Nike doesn't have the best quality all the time, and that's fine. But like the reimagined White Cement 3, people's pairs came messed up. Even if a pair of mine did come messed up, I was gonna wear it because it's a White Cement 3. Like I'm not. But like when it comes to like the reps used to be like the way to find out used to bend them in half.
Oh
yeah, they were super trash.
Like I don't. That's like a comfort hazard. Like I'm not doing that. So that's the connotation that it has in my mind. So that's why I will.
That's a fair.
I give them my money.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's a fair. Yeah, I got
that's all we got for today. Man, just shout out all your companies, where we can find you, follow you, please. Everything.
Okay. Hey, it is Dr. W. First and foremost, I would like to shout out my wife because she's taking care of baby Paige right now while we're doing the podcast.
Shout out to the wife.
Yeah, shout out to the wife. Shout out to Paige, obviously. Shout out to Scott's 55, Brian, my boy, my brother. Shout out to you guys for hitting me up to do it. This has been super cool. Hopefully we can do this again.
Anytime.
Man. Shout out to, we had a middle school crew called the Get 'em Squad, and those are my brothers today. So shout out to the Get 'em Squad, man. Shout out to Atlanta. Shake me. Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to W. You know that forever. Where you can find me, www.exhibitw.com, or Instagram is what we mainly use. It's going to be WWDUBYA W on Instagram. You know, that's pretty much it. Shout out to God.
Amen.
Shout out to God first.
Amen.
First, that should have been first, but you know, say the best for last.
We that's a given in the world that we live in. Hey, Mason, we got to show my merch real quick. You can be as harsh as you want. I've created most of it. It's on a whim. If you saw, it's everything you said. People asked me for merch asked us for merch about this dude. This is the 100. How many episodes have we done this, Mason?
161.
161 episodes. People started asking for merch in episode 4 or 5. Check it out. So I just look, I'm not a designer. I enjoy this. I think it's fun. I think it's a stress relief. Yeah. But I'm not trying to be.
This is the dopest one you've ever done.
Thank you. So give us your critique on this stuff that I've randomly just thrown our logo on or whatever.
Okay. So well, I'm trying to.
And even if it's like, this sucks, man, you should take that off. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
It's crazy because I'm looking at this shirt and hoodie, and Champion is my favorite brand, like all time.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so that's super cool.
Champion.
Nah, man, it's good. It's a lot.
We have a lot.
There's a lot on there. So when you were saying, when you're talking about, hey, more exclusivity and less options, like that really rang home. Like I will I will start deleting things on here.
Yeah.
That was great
Yeah,
advice.
Old
I
stuff
think-
can go.
I think the biggest thing, because they're not bad designs. I think the biggest thing is what do you want people to know? You know what I mean? In a sense
What do you
of
want people to know?
what do you want people to know? Like, are you trying to drive traffic to the pod? Do you want people to just sport it, or do you want it to be part of a fit? I think that's what's most important, because you got a lot of pieces that people could wear with a fit, but what's most important? It's just
I'm definitely not concerned about a fit. And I definitely don't want people to buy it just because they like us, but I know that's what you do. Like, it's a story, it's the feeling.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement and all that.
Mhm.
We need to have less options. That's fair.
But I think hard stamp things, I think just your logo on shirts is enough.
Just your logo. Okay.
Just your logo. I think just your logo is enough. A lot of when I was working, when I was a brand strategist, you'd be surprised, man. People, you really got to just sit down and be like, what's important? Because you want to drive people to the pod to view your content, to potentially be, people on the show, or tell, word of mouth. But I think the biggest and best thing you can do is have somebody wonder, what's that on their shirt? What does that mean? That's the conversation starter. So when you start adding elements of design, it's like it gets lost. Now it's just a cool shirt.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So Mason, go to this humble beginnings. When you said that, that's what I was thinking when I made this one right here. I feel like it is a very on brand thing for us.
Mhm.
It's like everybody starts at the same place.
Yeah.
Is what it was in my head when I made up this thing, which eventually I was going to ask you about your 404 tattoo. I've got a bunch of tattoos. Like, I will have a humble beginnings tattoo at some point.
Yeah. Okay. I got a W tattoo too.
You got a W tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how committed I am. I'm locked in with the brand, man.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to pare this down and take some of this old stuff off.
Yeah.
That is great advice. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. That's what we're here for. Help each other.
Appreciate it.
Amen. All right, Hayes.
All right, go to bed.
Let's wrap
buddy.
this up. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Shout out to
we're
y'all
just
again, man.
Yeah, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna just close out with
hey, wait. Let's tell him what we learned from him. What did we learn?
Oh, let's see. I think one of my favorite things, and I don't want to mess the quote up, but it was something around hard work or good ideas. One of those
don't
two.
expire.
Don't expire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really liked that concept, and then the just the storytelling behind everything really hit home with me, and I thought that was really cool. So, Hayes, what did you learn today?
I think for me, it's going to be it's a really great reminder that to be an individual, be yourself, and like not in a cheesy, stupid way of
I want to be different. I want to be different. Yeah.
I like what I like, and if other people like it, great. And if not, I love you too. But I really want to be connected to people that like what I like. And what that comes back to is a big theme of our show, which is community. And this is way bigger. And people, man, Dr. Dub, like, I will almost call you your government name, but
man, that's cool.
But listen, it is.
Man, listen. So my friend, another fun fact, the Dub part of it comes from my nickname in middle and high school was P Dub the Bug.
P Dub the Bug. Because PW your initials.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
So man, I go by P. Some people still see me to this day and be like, "What's up, P Dub?" So P Dub, P Money, Peyton. Hey man, listen, I go by a lot of names.
Yeah. So what I would say is, you further reminded me that life is about a community and being connected to other people. That we would never have this conversation ever if it wasn't for sneakers. And that's funny that it's something so superficial and dumb that you put on your foot, and that's weird.
Yeah.
But the connection really comes back to, well, that's where it can start, but then it is we have a shared common goal, and that is the love of the Lord. Like, that's what I learned from this.
Yeah.
Is that
Amen.
is that what it comes back to? And this isn't this is very rarely turns out to be actually about sneakers. It's about being connected to people that you have something in common with.
Yeah.
And it don't matter where they're at. But that's what is a great reminder from you. And I really appreciate that. No crap.
I appreciate you.
Amen.
All right, get out of here, buddy. Go get some sleep.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Y'all have a nice one.
Respect.
Hopefully we
Good.
can do this again.
Much
Amen.
love.
Thank you all.
Anytime you need to vent, man, this turns out to be therapy for most of us.
Yeah. Amen.
Definitely.
Yeah,
We
no,
gotta
the
get one of
pleasure
these
was
in
ours for
once,
sure.
once a week then. Once a week.
All right.
Have a
Much
nice one.
love. God
Peace.
bless you and your family and your little daughter.
Thank you, man. God
No
bless you
crap.
too.
Oh, he has. Wow. That was a
Oh,
good
yeah,
one.
that was awesome.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, I don't
What a
have anything
guy.
else to say. So,
I got nothing.
yeah.
Just get out of
Go
here. I'm not going to rap or nothing. Let's not ruin it.
www.
Follow us.
It's down here.
Yeah.
Follow
You can be
us at
anywhere in the
Silver
world.
VPN.
Go buy some merch. I'll purge it down. That was great advice. But screw it. Like, support that guy and buy his stuff.
Yeah. All right, man. Love you.
All right.
We love you all. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.